Next up is Paco Ulman. Paco Ulman is an architect. He's an urban planner. He's one of the leading urban planners architects and urban planners in the city of Tallinn, who has actually visioned and drawn up most of these urban planning visions that maybe other people take credit for. His work focuses on creating spatial vision documents, examples of which include the spatial vision for Tallinn Airport and Ülemiste City Business District, and the Christina Mobility Hub, to name a few. Paco has gained experience in several architecture offices and is a co-founder of the architecture firm Nendele Arhitektid. And he is presently engaged in his doctoral studies at the Estonian Academy of Arts, concentrating specifically on the spatial experiences of digital environments. Paco is here because Paco has actually been working on this spatial vision, strategic spatial visions for the district of Ülemiste for more than, dare I say, 7 years now when we started, yeah. So I think 7 years. So he's the right person to talk about what will Ülemiste look like in 20 years maybe, or sooner.
So hi, my name is Paco. Kaidi is so thorough, so I don't need to talk about. No. Everything is truth, so it's all right. So I don't know. Kaidi asked me to talk about maybe some spatial visions and about Ülemiste, because as Kaidi said, we have dealt with it so many years already through multiple of projects, and so at least that was my understanding what you want from me. So here I am. So too late now. So yeah, okay. So yeah, maybe I just. I don't have any grand ideas, but maybe one idea of this talk is that, or presentation is that we have to think about Ülemiste in a, let's say, multi-scalar way. So maybe I'll try to not maybe prove it, but point it out to you today. So first thing that Ülemiste is like the gateway of Estonia. So most of the flights and in the future also the trains are coming here. So it's as we understand, we always think about it as the major hub, international hub in Tallinn and in Estonia. So it has global and regional reaches. Global is quite let's say ambitious, but has to do with our flight, where our flights take us. But okay, it's let's say global. And also we have a Tallinn gateway, so it's actually in the scale of Tallinn. It works as a gateway to the city. That's the part where actually, if I come from Tartu Maantee highway, I think of it where the city starts, somewhere after the airport. So it's somewhere there where the actual city starts. Before that, it's just a bunch of houses. So it's like, because what is a city? City is something more organized and more tense, and the density starts from here. So in that sense, it's also acts in that scale also. So, and also it acts in a scale of a local neighborhood. It has there are people working there. Yeah, mostly working. I can't say people living there right now, but in the future, maybe also people living there. So it has to act as our let's say first person view, point of view, our tangible environment as I don't know, as public space or a place where we do our most of our days, so or working hours. So so it has to work in those three scales. So it's a very interesting thing that if you think about these different scales, these are in a way, they are acting against each other, and you can see this evidence on Ülemiste itself. So Ülemiste area is, they have lots of new developments. There are the new airport main terminal at some point will come, the airport business district. Ülemiste Center is doing its developments, Rail Baltic terminal, of course, the railway link to Europe. Ülemiste Business District has always something moving and shaking something, so it's always happening there. And European Park, so we call it the European Park. It's so it symbolizes the link of I don't know, the global link of things. So it has a lot of interesting things in a very tight space. And also we have a very interesting thing that it's not very usual, is that our airport is so close to the city itself. So it's like usually if we have an airport in a city, even in Tallinn-sized cities, it's mostly outside of the city, but right now it's on the edge of the city, and it's literally defines where the city starts. So it's in that sense, it's a nuisance, but also a possibility, because it's as I said, there are these global or bigger scale actors or forces, and these are the smaller scale forces that right now are in conflict with each other on Ülemiste area. And also the prevalent question is always that this Ülemiste parts of downtown, the center of the city, is it a competition to the center of the city? Me as a person who works in a Tallinn planning department, I have these questions all the time if I deal with this, how much competitions we allow to our edges of the cities, because our problem is that we actually want to keep our centers of city centers, that they are but the problem is that these are the bigger firms, the global firms who have their branches here, they are mostly coming to these kinds of places because they have more space, there are more better infrastructure here, and so it's always this tension between the center and the edge of the city. And if I think about it, the Ülemiste area is like a peninsula. So we have separators. So we have the northern side where it separates the railway link, railway area. Then we have the southern end. We have a airport, which is they're all fenced off, closed areas. So it's a problem. And we can add to the highways here also, which are separators, and also let's throw in the lake also, because it's also fenced out, because it's a reservoir for our drinking water. So in that sense, it's a really particular place. Ülemiste is. It wants to have a global, let's say, global ambitions, regional ambitions, and local ambitions, but it's all the forces are acting against each other in this tight space, because Ülemiste itself, when it was built, it was the reasons why it was built. It was wholly different. It was linked with a railway. It was the structure came from a very specific needs. It wasn't needs for the people, but it was needs for logistics, in industry. So, and all these kinds of things that allow this structure to evolve. And we can see these, the structure itself is still influencing the cityscape or the local, let's say, streetscape itself. So it's these are the we have to deal with these decisions, which was done years ago, and now we have to so layer it up. So and then try to fix things where we can. So in 2003 there was like a detailed planning of most of this area. And if you see that's industrial park, so in the industry, so it was still thought about as industry in 2003. But if you go 10 years later, this is it's not detailed planning, it's wrong there. Structural planning, which is 2013, already talking about business district. So there are, in that 10 years, there have been kind of a change from business area to, from industry to business area. And this thinking has changed in that sense, a very short time. This is the first spatial visions we did in the city with local stakeholders, and that's the side of the western side of the area where we try to describe all the new developments, try to think about in a whole way, like holistic, yes, holistic way. That the idea is to how to look all these developments together, and so that was the first our attempt, and it was 2020, but the year is not correct because we started 2 years earlier. It was took so long. So there is another layer. Also, our department made it. It was about connections through the railway, under the railway, and what happens to the next to the Peterburi highway, and how is this area connected to it. So it's in this smaller scale. How is, because if Ülemiste area wants to be a part of the city, it has to be connected somehow. So these are vital links to the rest of the city, because it can't just act as a peninsula, so it doesn't work in that way. So, and also Valukoja street area spatial planning, which was the last one, and this was east side of the area, and here is like how to deal with this area. This is the closed off airport area, so it's like a very secure area. And this is how this city connects to it. So, and how to put the street through it. So it's I don't know, 2 years took this to come up with a solution. So it's still not perfect, but it's works somehow. So all these different kinds of forces act to against each other. Maybe some words about what is spatial vision. It's our version of structural plan. That's the idea that it's a planning tool, something between a master plan or general plan and a detailed plan. So it's a tool that we use as a communication and thinking tool with local partners, owners of the areas, and local stakeholders. And it's not a perfect tool, of course, because we still have a lot of conflicting interests, and we always don't solve those. But this is a way to actually think a little bit faster about and more holistic way of bigger, more complex areas that have all these kinds of conflicting forces. So the idea is that it's of course more as a process. It's not always about the result, because the process itself, you can talk about it, you can discuss different kinds of solutions and come up with maybe a third solution that nobody actually before thought about it. But the main idea is to actually it's not I don't know. That's our idea was that the partners or different sides don't have to make compromises, but they because in a compromise everybody loses something. So, but instead it will be more beneficial if you make agreements. So everybody can shift their maybe their starting points, not their like end points. So that idea was that it was in the very first stages of planning, and we can use it in a way to discuss and develop areas together. So yeah, as I said, it's not in a perfect way yet, but it's a tool, we still use it, and so we hope that we refine it in a way. So just maybe some examples. This is the west side area. The first draft of our vision, and it was done with Ülemiste City and the airport, Tallinn Airport, and the idea is how to. Because Tallinn Airport wants to make their new terminal building and their new airport business district, and also Rail Baltica is there, and so how to connect those terminals together, and so think it in a more complex way. And also one very crucial part is we always try to make solutions in three-dimensional space, so that's actually envelops also these kinds of spatial solutions and ideas. Not only in a map like detail planning. And so, yeah, that's a first draft, but also we made I call it ideation, but in Estonia it's ideekorje, but I don't know, I didn't find any better words, maybe we can... Idea sourcing, idea gathering. So it's an assignment for 5 architectural firms to come up with alternative ideas of the same area and think about it. And maybe then we can gather some of these ideas and put them into the actual planning itself. So these are the different versions of the same area by different firms. This is 3+1 architects, quite radical. They even lose the Ülemiste center. So, which I didn't think it was in the brief, but they did it anyway. So quite, but actually quite very nice place. I really like how Tartu Maantee is really like feels like a nice city street already. And here is the Rein Murula Architectural Bureau. So it's very like let's say logistics driven, because it has this kind of a very narrow gallery there connecting Rail Baltica and the terminal itself. So, but it's yeah, maybe that's the main idea of this project. And this is from Alliance Architects. This is a very like efficient way. It's like putting this cross meters like shelves, and so it's really like a very yeah. Reminds me of a film, French filmmaker Tati. So he had Playtime. Yes, so it's like that kind of a world, very modernistic. Yes, and the QP architects, so they are quite made some also bold ideas. So these are the maybe the most usable was the idea from Architecture Bureau Plus, which made some ideas how to connect these two terminals, how big the square or the park would be, and how these different streets are. So this is actually the thing that was put in the final version of this vision, and these kinds of very strong links between two terminals, and to think about it, and what is inside of what kind of a space is that. So it's like a very city center like space. Another view of this area. And also maybe here, because here is not, this is the eastern side of the area, this is our made, and the idea is that instead of this kind of, the western side of this picture is about these are the buildings that mostly exist, and that we found that there are some problems with these, because it's always the plot and inside of the plot, smack in the middle, there is a building, and this doesn't leave anybody any nice spaces, so you don't get any good streetscape, and you don't get any good green areas. So idea was to combine, actually make more tensor blocks and give some space, actually bigger spaces so you can have more quality space. So these are the ideas, and how to develop all these with local stakeholders. Like we had Ericsson, who wanted to come here, but I don't know, they don't now come, but I don't know what. So these plans are always changing. So we had this, but these are the plans. And the last one, the work is still going. The last one is like a location analysis of this, the Ülemiste area is here. Here's the railway, and this is the railway park. It's an idea of a railway park and how to use this space as a maybe this is an analysis picture of an area. Do we fit a new sports arena there? Because it sits in a very nice place, because it's very well connected by rail and by airport and highways. So it's a quite good place to actually put it there. But does it fit? So we had to make an analysis on this, and I want to just prove that all this work is still ongoing with different kinds of projects. So, and all these layerings, and the idea was to put an arena there and maybe a very nice park there, because usually there is, if you've been some like in Finland or Latvia, where you seen these kinds of arenas, they're mostly surrounded by big parking lots. But here we can do it differently, because we have all Ülemiste City parking areas, parking garages, that we can actually use it as a multi-use or cross-use parking spaces, and we can actually make a really nice park there as a green area. So these are the benefits, and we don't know if it will come here, but it's just our proposal. So, yeah, thank you.
So this method of working with spaces in a flexible way really kind of emphasizes the beauty of it, in a sense that even if things change, this method can still be continued, and this vision can always evolve into something else.
Yes, the beauty is that it's an open-ended tool, so it's like there is no concrete input and concrete output. So you define how's the process going. But the problem is that's also the problem, because it's a tool. It's not really well defined. Okay, what I do I hammer it, or I cut it, or whatever? So it's like a tool. A tool has to be with particular function. You have to define it really well, because we have some projects that are gone years, and we still don't see the end of it. So it's still in a working process. So it's a problem that at some point you have to end the process. So because it's just keeps too long.
Yeah, one day we are like designing a factory for 1,500 Ericsson workers, and the next day we're not.
Yes, and next day we're not. And then also that's wanted to talk about at one point of that. Maybe I didn't emphasize enough, but the idea is that also how this area develops is also with big. It's really dependent on the big decisions, global issues like why some big companies come here or don't. They are connected to the events like in our region, like the war in Ukraine is also affecting decisions that are big corporations are making. These decisions are making what kind of solution, what kind of space are we making here. So it's not only like about moving people by train or plane, it's about also the money, how it develops. So, and if you can see all the development in Ülemiste City area, it's like very like haphazard, like pop, some places here, some places there. So it's like, yeah. So it's not very, coherent.
Very nice ideas, but my question is, there is some businessman called Peter Vesterbacka who wants to build a tunnel between Helsinki and Tallinn. And starting point, the building, this tunnel was somewhere in Ülemiste. Is this idea is still ongoing, or it's closed now?
We haven't heard it in a long time. So some projects in the city, we deal with a lot of projects, and some projects are really fast, 2 months, and then they die for 2 years. So, and then we resurrect them. So somehow, so it's a really strange way of working, I know, but so that's life. So actually, we had an idea to put a underground terminal here. So next to the airport terminal. So it had the third link also hidden underneath. So
the space is reserved.
Yeah, but in the later versions you don't see the underground version of it because it's already dead. And so things change. And also, as I said, we are affected all these very global decisions, like and yeah, they come down to our very street level. Yeah.
Yeah, especially in Ülemiste, who defines itself as a global port or global entry.
Yes, and if you compare it to a regular normal city, it's like there are these different these actors. There are smaller, but there are more of them, and they act in a longer time. So it's develops very like regular cities develop very long time, but here is like very sudden movements, so sudden changes.
So the question is that at the moment, when I came here, I could see a lot of parking slots. But here in these plans, where are the parking lots, or where are the cars supposed to be?
The idea is that these cars are our idea, or the Ülemiste City itself also wants to do that all the parking is next to the Suur-Sõjamäe and Sepise Street. So here there will be no car areas. So big garage buildings. And actually, right now we have the problem that we... yeah. He didn't like the answer, so.
Hates the answer.
Yeah.
We are not impressing him.
So the idea is that our problem is that Tartu Maantee is already full, and Suur-Sõjamäe is also full by car traffic, so we can't afford any more cars there anymore. So it's we actually, but this is very well located area, so it's very well connected when the tram finally arrives again. So it's so we can actually so we don't have maybe so many problems with this.
Is Ülemiste in the future still targeted as or branded as a business district? And if so, do you see the inherent problem of that?
Yes, I can see it because we have a problem with pollution, we have a problem with noise, and so we have, but we have another way, we have a problem that Ülemiste City right now has, is that it's in the evenings it's a dead space. So we have this problem that at one part we don't want maybe living here, people living here, but that other part we actually want because we don't want dead areas in the cities. So it's like that. So hard decisions in that way. Yeah. Yeah.
Considering the impact on noise and the constraints that the density imposes, then is it also something that the city can see that in order to have more cohesive cityscapes, there will be some alleviation of those norms that are currently valid?
Yes, we also talked about it, that all kinds of living they're not equal. because if maybe you don't want to live with your family here, but maybe you as a worker working here for, I don't know, a few months, half a year, maybe it's okay for live here. So there are different kinds of living, and all the living, we also talk about in the city that all kinds of livings, they don't have to be in the same standard. Maybe they can have, maybe, I don't want to say lower standards, but different kinds of benefits. So I can't say it. So it's,
alternative standards.
I like it. Holistic and alternative. So these are kinds of standards that allow us to also build some kind of housing here. So but actually there are the general plan actually allows some housing here also. So it's not, but yeah, it has to be targeted maybe in different ways. So yeah.
Actually, I had the same question about the residential developments, because I know that some cities like Melbourne have been pouring millions of was it Australian dollars then into fighting with the monofunction, the effects of monofunctionality, and I can see that becoming an issue. But how is it? Maybe one question is how is it that the pollution is not a problem to people working here, but would be a problem to residents? And to just to conclude, a good reference project maybe for the sports hall would be London Olympic Park, because that is actually surrounding the London Olympic Stadium, which is a beautiful place, a very, very, very fine project. Yeah. Thanks.
So that's a good question, because we have different kinds of standards for living and working. So it's in that way it's, but we but we actually need some kind of a solution if we let people live here. Before that, the developer itself has to make some kind of analysis and to see what kind of what is the pollution and noise pollution levels here, and so, and what's the feasibility of this bringing living functions here. So it's yeah.
I've been thinking that it's not just about these standardized restrictions of pollution or noise, but first and foremost, it's to actually introduce residential functions here. We kind of need to find solutions how to make this environment less hostile, and that means somehow reducing the barrier effect of things. And actually there are like three: the barrier effect of the railway, the barrier effect of the roads or highways, and thirdly, the barrier effect of blocking of the lake because of sanitary restrictions. So if we were somehow able to actually reduce these effects by building tunnels or negotiating different means of protecting the drinking water, or kind of truly succeeding changing the Tartu road into a Tartu Boulevard or Tartu, yes. I don't know, boulevard is a good word in this section, then residents would actually come, and it would be much easier to negotiate residential space here.
Yes, so that's a really nice, like as I said about Tartu, like in these pictures, like what has changed comparing to what today? Something is like better here. I can feel it. I can actually walk here now, because right now it's like quite, I don't want to be there. So it's quite noisy and it's not normal. So in the sense that we have spatial solutions to actually do these kinds of things, to actually make the area more inhabitable or habitable. So.
And then the living standards can be alternative.
I like it.
Any more questions to Paco? Not right now. Then let's take a break. Let's have a stretch, maybe 10 minutes.